Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Candle Close News. We see the market is acting up over the last 24 hours, and I just wanted to come out over and give you all my perspective of the market over the last 24 hours, and hopefully give you a clear understanding of what the market's doing and this, my perspective of this manipulation that we're seeing take place today. Very important. We've lately talked about the days approaching, which were the 21st and the 22nd of the month, which today being the 21st. Very powerful connections to the market every month. And this is something I've shared on my channel dating back several months. Pivot points for the market. Very important. The way time works is if it's the 21st in the US, it's the 22nd in Australia and the UK, etc. Other places. And we perceive this market in a 3-day window of timing. And something I've tried to share with you all as how I perceive this code and utilize it to perceive this cryptocurrency market. Something very important, especially around the 21st and 22nd of the month. Tomorrow being the 22nd, again, I'm just trying to reiterate the importance of this and share with you moving forward what this video will be pertaining to. You guys know I make long videos and it's hard for me to keep track of everything we've shared on this channel, but we do get exaggerated wicks to the bottom around days like the 21st or the 22nd of the month. We've had it happen going back in September, June, and July. Just previous time frames throughout the last year plus on this channel that we've spent together building this community of pioneers that are trying to build legacies for their families and the legacies to come that they'll build. So very important. We don't really know why we get this around the 21st, 22nd of the month, but it happens almost perfectly sometimes. And it's one of those things that when you start to see it happen enough, you take it into you utilizing it. And when we get towards the end of the month, we tend to see these lows, and it's usually around the full moon. Today and tomorrow being a 3 to 5 day window since our January 17th full wolf moon. So again, just very powerful things that we like to utilize on this channel. So we'll go ahead and get started into everything. Something I've been sharing with you all in my work for the last 3+ weeks now is two very powerful things that I wanted to take note of real quick, and that is fear and emotions, because neither one of those things have a place here in our investments. And when we build an investment thesis and strategy, see, it's very important that we keep those things on the sideline, and that's something I wanted to share with you all for quite some time now that we've been in this downtrend, because I'm truly appreciative and grateful for the community we're building here. And I want us to remember that we first, before we gain financial freedom, have to gain spiritual and mental freedom before we can ever become wealthy. And I shared something with my Pioneer group chat yesterday, and I told them at the beginning of that message that I wanted to remind them of how truly powerful they were, that they were already rich and already powerful, and that they were manifestation experts and scholars. And I told them to go right then and walk over to the mirror and tell themselves that they were going to have the most incredible day that made an impact on the ones that surrounded them. Because I believe through you, through us all, that the light shines. And when we take ownership of that and our truth, and it radiates through us, through our words, and through our smiles and through our presence, and we prioritize that and maintain that frequency and vibration, well, we can use it as our force field. Lately, I felt the whole world shifting, like a snake sheds its skin. The process, it will move at the pace of what Mother Nature decides it. And during this phase, in this process, I believe we're going to receive a vast amount of knowledge and wisdom. But I also believe that the controllers who attempt to counter our every action in this matrix, the Agent Smiths, I believe they'll continue to try and counter this gnosis and wisdom and knowledge that we'll gain through this process of this world shifting right now into Aquarius. But I don't believe that their methods that they've used for so long will be able to work, except for only on those that allow it to work on them. I believe this is all about the freedom of choice, you guys. But when these elected leaders in the government and the media, when they give us a small victory, they're only luring us back into their game. And it's my job to teach you all to not play the game, or at least know the game so you can't be played. Keep one foot in the matrix and one foot out. And it's that simple. And you can only do that by relinquishing fear and your emotions. You can't let these evil energy vampires get your emotions. Do only what makes you feel good, what resonates with you. During this phase, the governments will pretend to be on our side by giving us back some of our freedoms. Don't give this any emotion. Do not be happy for this, because this is a technique they use to keep you trapped in their game. Some countries will start to lift mandates and some will become even more strict. Don't give this any of your energy. The tactics the controllers use, they are pre-planned far in advance to keep the masses behaving and compliant during the process while implementing new programs so the people willingly make choices to slowly forfeit their freedom year by year. This entire game of global government is an energy harvesting experiment, and don't be a rat in their maze and don't play their game. Live your life and serve your purpose, you guys. And when I woke up yesterday and I saw the code for yesterday, I knew it would be a very important day and I wouldn't be able to get out and get a video to you all until today. So I wanted to leave that message to remind you all of how far we've came together. And I wanted everyone to be prepared for the barrage of psychological operations that are going to be thrown at us this way. The fear that's going to be pushed. And not all of this has been crypto related. Most of this I've been talking about has been about keeping our reactive selves in check and keeping our hearts open and responding to everything we see and perceive and get in life, whatever's thrown our way, responding to it with love and gratitude and just being the I am that I am and just existing. Because when we fear things, we let it control us. But when we fear nothing, then there is nothing that they can ever take from us. And when we perceive this in cryptocurrency, well, we know that it's designed to keep us in this disbelief, in this depression stage. Okay? So it's very important. We know that the uncommon 1%, the most advanced traders, they never ever let their emotions feel these sentiments during a market cycle, period. And that's something I try to remind you, each and every one of you, about. Something we go over. Keeping a a fundamental approach towards cryptocurrency and a great mindset as well. So with all that being said, we'll go ahead and transition straight into the video, and I'll share with you all the fabulous manipulation we've seen take place. Because I've been able to come out for almost 2 weeks now and prepare you all for a $38,000 Bitcoin using the code of numerology and gematria, as well as astrology and ancient teachings from an ancient prehistoric world, astrotheology, by using things like pi, etc. It's scripted. 43,000 it fell from, straight to 38K, and both of those tying us straight back into our new variant that we saw come out of France on January 5th, the B.1.640.2, the new variant, giving us that 15th. So scripted, you guys. We're in the middle of a Shemitah year, and we saw Bitcoin fall to 38K today. Today is January 20th, or 21st, and we talk about the reset and change and recycles that come to the market around the 21st and 22nd of the month, typically around a full moon that brings bearish energy to the cryptocurrency markets. So very important, these connections we're seeing. We've talked a lot about metaverse lately and the virtual realm that they are trying to create and implement on top of our physical realm, our physical reality, giving us that same 38. So very important connections that we've made, and we'll be talking about a few more tonight as well. But when we look at today's date and we connect it all the way back to the day that the start of the pandemic happened, our last day of normality was the day before, on March 10th, 2020. But this day being 1 year, 10 months, and 9 days since that day, since the day our lives changed forever. That 119 being a very powerful number. There's Aquarius that we started today, by the way, you guys, on the 21st day of the year. Very important. But that 119, we know we get an all-seeing eye. That all-seeing eye is a very powerful number. That 61, we get an all-seeing eye being the 18th prime number. Very important. We'll be making connections to that 18 tonight as well. But we know that 119 is a very powerful number. And we get this crash today, 1 year, 10 months, and 9 days since the start of the pandemic. So very powerful connections right there that I wanted to make off the rip. That all-seeing eye, again, I've stated before that everyone will claim to be so occultic and tied to the Illuminati and the Freemasons, but simply it is the most ancient symbol on this planet, dating back to, excuse me, to symbolizing the Messiah. Remember that all-seeing eye being the chief cornerstone. Okay? Very, very important. So, very powerful number, that 119. Remember, it also gave us that 56, and we might make a few connections to there tonight. You know how powerful that number can be. But again, this day, last night, overnight, when we saw this dip in the cryptocurrency market to 38K, was transitioning us into the 21st day of the year, giving us that 1 year, 10 months, and 10 days, that very powerful 111 number that we talk about on this channel a lot. And it symbolizes spirituality, and the spiritual number that it represents is very powerful to new beginnings and a new cycle. Okay, so very important as we are in January the month of Janus, the Greek god of beginnings, transitions, doorways, and gates, the god of endings. Very, very important, everything that we're making here, but that 111 number being a very, very spiritual and symbolic number that is, I believe, utilized by the occult. Again, occult meaning hidden. Okay, so very, very important. Powerful connections here to this date that we see this crash come in. One other thing that we'll show you on the price charts real quick as we hide everything. If we go back to the last day that we have touched this level of the logarithmic growth curve chart for Bitcoin that we've spoken about recently on this channel, it was when we had this V-bottom crash on Thanksgiving, November 25th of November 25th of 2020, before we saw a V-bottom recovery up out of that situation we were at that time. We had reached this level of the logarithmic growth curve, and it's really 422 days. I clicked the 26th, as you can tell right here. I meant to click the 25th, but obviously I made a mistake. And I pulled it over all the way till today in this dump, giving us 422 days since that date and this last time that we reached this level of this logarithmic growth curve chart that only moves upwards over time. Very important level. So again, being a long time, more than a year since we've reached that level, not only does the Chinese New Year that we are approaching give us that 224, but it is also the 224 that we get in Satoshi Nakamoto, which is the creator of Bitcoin. And that 224 is the mirror of the 422 days it's been since we have reached this level of the logarithmic growth curve. So something I wanted to also add to this powerful connection to the manipulation that we're seeing today. And I don't use that word lightly when I say it neither. It's clearly manipulated, and I'm going to continue to prove that to you tonight utilizing the code. Some important connections we're making already off the rip. Since the start of the Shemitah and the Jewish Hebrew sabbatical year and the release year, today, the day that we are seeing this dump, which happened last night as we transitioned overnight from Thor's Day into Freya Day, Friday, the day of Freya, which is Venus. Very powerful. I told you it would make them 18 connections tonight. So very powerful. We'll continue to elaborate deeper on this 18 connection tonight. We know how powerful that number is in Judaism, and I'll show you that tonight as well to reiterate that and the importance and significance of 18. So very powerful today, this connection right here. But this 4 months and 13 days since the start of the Shemitah, which we see this dump in Bitcoin come in, that 4 times 13, well, it is 56. And again, this happened 1 year, 10 months, and 9 days, giving us that 119. That all CNI gave us 119 and 56. 4 times 13 is 56. Very powerful. And this has everything to do with the 56 we get in the BTC ticker symbol. So again, very powerful connections here as we transition into Friday, January 21st, the 21st day of the year. So again, giving us 4 months and 14 days. That is the mirror of 144, the 144,000 chosen, 144. Very important connections that we're getting right here and why we're seeing this volatility. So again, before I get too ahead of myself, let's go back to this date right here. We saw this crash come in on January 20th, 2022. Okay, that 120 sums to 12, the mirror of 21. Okay, this date. Okay, today. But when we add this date up, when we add it up, 1 plus 20 plus 20 plus 22, we get 63. The 63 symbolizes the mirror as above, so below of the 36 we get in Bitcoin. Okay, so very important. Not only that, 1 plus 20 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 2 was 27. Okay, we're in the year of Jupiter, giving us that 27. Okay, very important. That same 36 we got in Bitcoin, the mirror of 63. Okay, as well as Bitcoin giving us the 72, the mirror of 27 we got on this date. So again, very important. Not only that, when we type this date out in standard date numerology 1/20/2022, we got the 9, the same 9 that we got in the BTC ticker symbol. Same 56 we got. Okay, there's that 7. Alright, this was the 20th day of the year we saw this crash. Bitcoin gave us 20 in the BTC ticker symbol. Okay, this affects us because we are the player in this game. Same 20. Okay, but that 7 we got today, also when we add this date up, because we saw Bitcoin fall from 43K yesterday, transitioning into today when it fell from 43K to 38K. We prepared you for this. Okay, today is the day. Why? Here's where that gets interesting, and I'll show you how. Okay, utilizing the code, today was the first day of Aquarius, the first full day on the 21st day of Giannis of January, the 11th month. And if you're someone who has followed my channel, then you know that I know that January is not the first of the year. March is, okay? February being the end of the cycle, you guys, okay? So I've exposed this going back on my channel for months now. For instance, when we talk about October, oct meaning 8, octagon having 8 sides, oct meaning 8, and we talk about using the prefixes of the months, and usually the Latin numerological value meaning, etc. Certain things, but nov meaning 9, or deci meaning 10 for December. Okay, January being the 11th month, February being the 12th, and the end of the cycle, and the 12th zodiac. And I know there's 13 that they hide from us. The 13th zodiac being the dragon. We've exposed that as well on our channel. But you know, so very important things that I wanted to reiterate there. But Aquarius giving us that 21 and that 55. That same 55 we got in Satoshi Nakamoto. Okay, that's why we're seeing this today being 224, the mirror of the 422 days since we last touched this level. Excuse me. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. Excuse me. Sorry, you guys. But 422 days since we last touched this level of the Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve chart. A very historical data form, and an indicator that we can use, dating back 13 years. Excuse me, you guys. Sorry about that. But very important. We saw Bitcoin fall to a low of today before being bought right back up to 36K. That 36 is important. We stated that it ties us to Bitcoin. Okay. But Bitcoin fell to, you guys, 35K so far, and that 35 is very symbolic to the, okay, we know we get that 35 in the 53 mirror of 35 is the virtual realm we talk about lately with metaverse. giving us that 35. Very important. We've exposed that importance. So that's powerful. They want you to upload your conscience to the virtual realm into an avatar, giving you that 45, 54 connection. 18. The mirror of 36 is 63. The 3 6s, your 6 protons, electrons, neutrons, making up the 18. The infinite connection to source. We talk about the 1 being the Jesus body, the matrix body, you. Okay, and the infinite connection. Very powerful. But that's why we fell to 35K today, to believe. Strictly in the code, you guys. But again, and I'm going to show you why. Back to Aquarius, you guys, giving us that same 35. Very important. The first day of Aquarius being today, the 21st. All tying us into Bitcoin, and the creator of Bitcoin being Satoshi Nakamoto. But not only that, when we look at Aquarius, we know it is the water bearer, the water symbol, you guys. Okay, as we transition into tomorrow being the 22nd, we know water equals 22. It is the air element, and its ruling planet, you guys, is the sky god, Uranus. Okay, giving us that same 22 and 23. And the next 48 hours are going to be very crucial, and I promise you that. Okay? But Aquarius's fall is Neptune, you guys, giving us that same 38. And we saw Bitcoin fall to 38K today during Aquarius, where it then fell to $35,000. Okay? And now it's setting at 36K, and we know Bitcoin equals 36, and we're in the year of Jupiter. Oh, the Jupiter. Very powerful connections we're getting here using the code. Bitcoin first fell to 38K, which was 45% down from its 69K top. And we know both Bitcoin gives us 45, and so does Makara, which is the zodiac Capricorn that we just transitioned out of. Okay, yesterday on the 20th. Okay, when we saw this happen overnight, an energy transition. You guys, this is Kabbalistic black magic that we're watching take place, and I'm trying to teach you that. Our world is so much deeper than the illusion that they've indoctrinated us to believe for our entire existences. Very, very important. Going back 100 years, this occultic knowledge has been hidden from us, and we can utilize it in our everyday lives to change our realities. And I'm going to teach you that the best that I can. Okay? So very, very important that we pay attention to everything that we're seeing take place. Very important. Again, undeniable, these connections. We talked about today, the day that we saw this dump happen, being the 63, being the 3 6s, making the 18 that we get in the infinite connection of source. The 18, a very powerful number in Judaism. The 18 we get in Shemitah, the Jewish Hebrew New Year and release sabbatical year that we are in. That's affecting the markets very, very much, bringing this volatility into the markets. I've studied 100 plus years of S&P 500 data to be able to show you that this Shemitah will be very volatile. But don't get flooded out of the markets. Don't buy into the fear that this is manipulation at its finest. Okay, but this being a very powerful number in Judaism, and I highly suggest you go and do your research around this number. Okay, but there's no coincidence why we're seeing any of this today, and I'm going to hopefully continue to break this down. When I saw this day yesterday, being internationally written 20 1, that's 201, and we know how powerful event 201 was, okay? And when this day was 4 months and 13 days since the start of the Shemitah, you guys, well, that only ties us back into coronavirus, which was what event 201 was about, giving us that same 43, which is what we saw Bitcoin fall from yesterday, all the way down to 38K, and then down to 35, tying us all the way back into the 35 we got in Aquarius, and the 35 that we made connections to, with the 35 and 53 connection, when we made our mark of the beast. Decode. My #1 view decode out there, you guys. Very powerful. Thank you for the support, pioneers. You know, the same 53 connection we got in transhumanism. You guys, we know that was all tying us back into today, the start of Aquarius. We saw 35,000, but it's all there in the code. We're able to provide it for you without a doubt while we're seeing these things. It's so very important. This day, I'm going to show you from our 69K top back on November 9th, being that very symbolic 119 number we've talked about, the mirror of 9/11, Boaz and Yachin, okay, the pillars of Solomon, that very powerful 119 number, okay, November 9th. Pay attention, you guys. Or being Nov 99, Jupiter, that 99 connection there on November 9th, if you utilize the real numerologic value of that month, not 11, but being the 9th month. Either way, very powerful. But if we go from this previous high of 69K, and we come down to the day that we dumped on the 21st, where we saw the bottom so far come in at 35K, a retest of our previous level of the Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve that we're holding support of right now. Well, that was 72 days, tying us right back into, the 72 we get in Bitcoin, you guys, created by Satoshi Nakamoto. Today, the dump happened on 422 days since the last time we touched this level. I've showed you that. Satoshi Nakamoto tying us in there, okay? But tying us into the Jesuit order, you guys. Very powerful connection, giving us that 144 and 72 connection. Undeniable. I mean, I'm trying to really utilize everything I can tonight. So be patient with me, you guys, as we just try and crack this extensively. Tomorrow being 73 days since then, being the 73 is the 21st prime number, and that 21 we get in today, Aquarius, the start of Aquarius, okay, being the 21st of January, you guys, alright, but that 21 we get in Saturn, and the cult of Saturn is controlling all of this, you guys. Very powerful, and I truly hope that my work proves this. They're very powerful things, undeniable. Yeah. We did actually pierce this level of the last iteration of the Bitcoin hash ribbons indicator, which is, I'm not going to get so into the specifics of this because I think a lot can change in a short amount of time. But, we historically usually don't close daily candles below this buy signal ever again. And this buy signal has came in 19 times now. So 2 times it's been, invalidated, going back in history. So again, we're not really going to put too much weight into this indicator anymore now that we've seen 2 times it be, invalidated. But we're still going to keep this hash ribbons indicator on, you know, on our mind. But this red deadline is something I have talked about, and the closes below it, which we have closed, and now we've anticipated the swipe down. Our big indicator is going to be swiping back above it and getting back above it on a weekly close, because if we close a weekly candle below 40K, I've stated before in my videos that I think that could be the indicator to the confirmation of a bear market. And I'm definitely being patient until Sunday, because today being Friday, the day of Freya, I think this could be a very manipulated time frame over the next 48 hours. Could retail bring us down even more and even lower? I don't know. We'll have to take some time to let the weekend play out and see what happens on a daily close Sunday. We want to see it get back above 40K Sunday night. So that's something I'm going to bring up real quick as we look at the price charts. And I've got them pulled up. This 36K that we're holding is just strictly, I think, tied to the 36. We get Jupiter. We're in the year of Jupiter, transitioning into the year of the Tiger, which is, Jupiter is the tiger stripe planet, you guys. And Bitcoin giving us that 36. Very powerful. One thing I know is we're still maintaining a higher low structure in a macro outlook, a long-term perspective. So, all in all, these are still holding technical levels for Bitcoin. Something very, very important, and I wanted to bring up, something to hopefully help us navigate what's happening here. I think we can be balled up. For one, the DXY is down today. There's no volume in the market. The DXY is down. Precious metals are down. Crypto is down. Everything is down, and it's getting weird. Okay? This is very Shemitah-like, and what happens during a release and sabbatical year. Okay? And during a Shemitah, we have these moments where technical indicators are just starting to get out of whack, and it's like, where's the money going? Because if it's not going into the dollar, and it's not going into stocks, and it's not going into crypto, and it's not going into bonds, well, then where's it going? Well, and that's what's making things problematic right now, and that's what the Shemitah is, you guys. And that's how they capture our fear and energy through manipulation, and I don't use that word lightly. It's just purely manipulation that's sentiment driven to get us to a place where it's complete misery and get us to panic sell and get market participants out because they use us as batteries so that they can buy these extreme dips. And who are they? They is Composite Man, Comp Man. Do your research on Composite Man. So, for one, it's just very important to make sure we don't let the markets capture our emotions. I use the thesis of being greedy when others are fearful, and I buy these opportunities. We typically bounce from these lower levels, but we'll have to continue to see what happens. So, something I just wanted to reiterate. Very, very powerful. Alright. Boom. We'll go ahead and get rid of that Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve. Yeah, and we'll bring up a few other indicators. Moon phases and the relative strength index. Real quick. You know how important, these markets get on the downside around our full moons. We had that 5 days ago. So very important, our new moon. New moons typically bring bearish energy coming in on the start of the Chinese New Year, February 1st. So very important time frame that I'm keeping an eye on, being the full snow moon. Very important because on the east coast of North Carolina, we're getting snow right now as we get ready to transition into the full snow moon. So I think that's, Very symbolic, I guess. It's organic synchronicity playing out in this matrix reality that we live in. It's a very important time frame. But, you know, Chinese New Year giving us that 224 that we get in Satoshi Nakamoto as well. So a very important time frame, giving us that 73 that we know we get in 21, the 21st prime number, that 73. Bitcoin having a 21 million coin supply. Very profound connections that we're making here right now tonight, you guys. Really trying to utilize my mind frame to give you guys the best that I can and show you this is strictly manipulation, and don't get feared out of the markets and panic sell. Not financial advice, but that's, you know, me documenting my journey into the digital decade and the new quantum financial system. You know, very powerful. Remember, Giannis giving us that 11 and 65. Important connections as we get ready to transition into a date tomorrow with 65 in numerology as well as 11. January, Giannis, Bitcoin giving us that 45 and that 9. Okay, our latest variant, when we type that out, you guys, giving us that same 29, you guys. Could we see Bitcoin fall to a low of 29K? Boy, would we have some things to talk about there in the code. I'm telling you, there's just some very powerful things we're seeing. You know, the market can do crazy things over the weekend with retail in control. Tomorrow in standard date numerology giving us that 11. We've talked about this in a few videos dating back from the 22nd day of the year, the 22nd of the month, which typically brings a market change. Could we see a trend reversal set in, giving us that 29 tomorrow? Very powerful. Watch for a change. Could it bring a reset to the markets tomorrow? Could it bring a recycle, giving us that 22? It's very powerful connections, you know, that we got to remember to utilize using the code dating back during Giannis tomorrow in the 22nd of the month. That 122, we know Joe Biden took his first shot at 1:22 p.m. Poppy Francis, our current Pope. Oh man, Pope Francis. You remember, doesn't he give us the 122 tomorrow? You guys, man, that's powerful. That's unique. Yeah, ain't that right? Bitch ass. Yeah, I know y'all saw him slap that baby, and y'all gonna support him. Get out of here. Tomorrow being 137 days since the start of the Shemitah in the Jewish Hebrew release year. Okay, being the 33rd prime number, that 137. So you've got a standard date numerology of 11 plus 22, which gives us that 33. So 11 plus 22 plus 33 gives us 66, and we get that the following day after when we add up 1 plus 23 plus 20 plus 22. So the next 48 hours being crucial. We know how powerful this master number is right here, that 66. Things we cannot deny on the 23rd day of the year, that 23, we know we get in Judaism. And a few other things that I'm probably going to tie in here in a minute. We'll see how this continues to play out. But massive connections here. Let's just focus on the immediate short term, though, with the next 2 days, though, that I'm really keeping an eye on. We know how powerful this 22nd is, though. I'm looking for a trend reversal to be set in tomorrow. Very obvious that, you know, we could see a lower low set in the structure and it be in the bottom, you know, wherever we do go. But we do want to hold that, you know, that 29K range, that 29.4. Could we see 29.5, 29.6? Yes. But we want to hold 29.4, 20, you know, yeah, 29.4, 29K at the lowest as our bottom. And you know, anything under that, we'll have to come out and have that conversation then, you guys. We see this RSI on the weekly time frame. It's, oh wow, it's sitting at 37. Pretty important. Pretty important. But if we take a look at the RSI on the daily time frame real quick. Oh, we're at 22. heading into the 22nd. Okay, we fell to a low of, well, we fell to a low of 21. Yeah, we fell to a low of 21, you guys, on the 21st. Very powerful, you guys. These are oversold, underbought territories, and we do not hang out here long. Look at this. Go back in history and see how long we hang out in this area. A day. Okay, not financial advice, but I'm just saying, very powerful connections that we're making here. Pure manipulation, and it's amazing how all the numbers come to fruition in the code as well when we see this, hanging out at 36k. Bitcoin equals 36. In the year of Jupiter equals 36. These 2 days, very important right here, very important. All these being the transition date into the 23rd, and I think all this is being important because we're still in Mercury in retrograde, and I've been talking about in the last few videos and some of my Pioneer group chats, and I think we can make that connection to not only Judaism, the ones who run the show, you guys, giving us that 23 that we can perceive as 2 3s, that 33, that very illumination and enlightenment number, that transmutation number, turning water into wine, the unfrozen pineal gland, the very powerful transmutation number. We get 2 3, perceiving it as 2 3s, but it tying us into Bitcoin, giving us that 23, or again, Mercury, giving us that same 23. And we know how powerful Mercury is right now. We're in Mercury in retrograde, and we're seeing, typically we see Mercury in retrograde, a sideways and boring, drawn out period leading to a pump, or just straight out a pump. Which one do you think it is, you guys? Manipulate it, okay? Just saying. But Mercury giving us that same 23. So these connections I want to make here. And this day coming up is going to be the 23rd day of the year. So again, that 1, 2, 3 date in the 222 year. Very powerful. We'll never get this again, you guys. So that 29, or that 23, that we're talking about is the 9th prime, and we know that 9 comes back to BTC and the ticker symbol, and we've spoken about that. So again, that 23 being a very powerful number, and we can see that. I've been telling you how we're still currently in Mercury in retrograde, and it's going to end soon at the start of the Chinese New Year. But Mercury in retrograde, or Mercury retrograde, gives us that gives us that 97, which is the 25th prime, and we know that comes back to BTC in the Bitcoin ticker symbol, as well as that 58 that comes back to XRP, and that 101, which is 11 in Giannis, you guys, the 11th month. Okay, so important connections that we're making right here as to why we're seeing this volatility at this time frame. Just more esoteric knowledge that I wanted to share with you. And it's important we pay attention to our mythologies, like the Greek and the Roman and the Sumerian and the Mesopotamian and the just very important we know our mythologies as decoders, period, end of story. Absolutely crucial. And when we're breaking this down with astrology and those ancient theological teachings, then we can see why we're getting what we're getting in the markets. And I've studied Mercury a lot more now, and I know it as the god of financial gain and the god of commerce, okay? Giving us that 33, you guys, okay? We know Mercury gives us 23, the 2 3s, okay? So very, very important, because when we know Mercury is the god of financial gain and the god of fiat and the god of commerce, then it's just interesting because it's all fake money, and it controls so much of our emotions in our life. And Mercury is known as the trickster, or Hermes, okay? in another mythology. It's different, Greek and Roman. But Hermes tying us back into Mercury with that 68 and 86, as above, so below connection. Okay? So it's just very powerful when we understand how much Mercury controls the markets of finance. Okay? It's very much Mercury, and I'm studying it deeper and deeper as we continue to watch this play out on the world stage, and we know how much it's simply just been for the last 2 years to hide the masses from understanding what was going on financially. It was to trick the masses to look at what the right hand was doing, while the left hand implemented a digital economy and a brand new monetary system right under their noses, just like in 1971. So it's like everything ties back to Mercury right here, especially financially and with everything we're exposing on this channel. It's no coincidence that we're getting all this tied to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and XRP, etc. XRP's logo is the X, and that has everything to do with the cross. Not only crucifixion, but a mutable cross. And it's quite simple stuff when you really start breaking this down. But it's so powerful, you guys, and I hope my work truly exposes just what cryptocurrency is and being a mark of the beast system. But anyways, the point of what's going on with this huge connection and what's bringing me to putting everything into connection here is that all these titans are family, and there should be connections to be made. And I want to make sure that you know that, and you utilize your mythologies and astrology, etc., as a voice between the immortals and the titans, that you can put your truths out there in the world with. Mercury is the system of fake money that we unfortunately have to take part in this matrix. And I don't want you to get trapped into this fiat cash, this crypto system that's just not allowing you to succeed, and keeping you trapped in fear, enslaved in your emotions in this fiat system here on Earth. Mercury is the trickster, you guys, and he's creating fear and fiat and fake money. And I don't know. I don't want to see you guys get trapped, and I just want to make these powerful connections and bring it to you all. I know it's hard for you all to sometimes understand, but it's like my truth, and truth is love and allowing, and it allows me to relinquish fear, and it's like it shows out in the code time and time again. I was able to do it in advance, prepare you for 38k Bitcoin, and now we know why the 35 is powerful. We've shared these connections, so undeniable. But I think I'm gonna end that there, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and anything I missed out in this video I'll bring back up in the next one. But take care, God bless, and continue to enjoy and manifest your greatness, you guys. You're a manifestation expert and scholar, and you're deserving of everything that you manifest. So with all that being said, take care, God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.